Lyor Cohen talking about how much money has been paid out for YouTube. And speaking of YouTube, we just made the transition to YouTube and we're starting to go live from here now. But it says YouTube's global head of music revealed that YouTube paid the music industry over $4 billion in the previous 12 months. And it says that Cohen also stated that his platform's aim is to become the leading revenue generator for the music industry. That would mean overtaking Spotify's annual royalty payments, which in 2020 surpassed $5 billion. So it looks like they're trying to get this wave to YouTube. How do you feel about that, Lone? I'll come to you first because you always have been someone that's talked about YouTube and the possibilities that come with YouTube. Do you think this will start having more people wanting to come this direction instead of, some of the streaming services? Because it sounds like YouTube's trying to make a big push, man. That's a lot of money to be paid out to artists through YouTube.
It is. It's also still, I think, the one platform that pays artists the least amount per stream. There's that. So I think it has a ways to go in that aspect. So, but I do like the platform. I mean, YouTube to me, it's probably the most evolved platform, just content purposes, as far as video, the content ID system that they spent millions and millions of dollars on, which is something that, things like Twitch don't even have. Right. And it's got its own YouTube music. I got an email for No Cosign, about a week ago, which is my record label that I run. And it basically said that they're combining YouTube Content ID with YouTube Music, which is kind of a big thing. So they're combining those two things together. So people on that use my distributor now won't have to select it as a separate option. So yeah, I mean, YouTube to me is typically kind of the trendsetter in a lot of ways. I think they get left off of left out of the conversation a lot of times because they're known primarily for video. But I mean, it's like the biggest search platform, and now there's YouTube TV. You can spend $65 or something a month. I don't know what it is, but whatever the fee is to have, it's like cable. You get hundreds of channels and stuff. So
live television, whole nine.
Yep. So I don't know. I think with Cohen ahead, you said Lyor Cohen was running it, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, and I remember when he took it over. So, I would not be surprised to see YouTube make, even a bigger push. But I do think that they need to address the fact that they do pay the least amount for royalties, regardless of if they're paying out a lot of money. So that should be factored into the equation, in my opinion.
I'm not mad at that. Jay Moore, what are your thoughts on a possible YouTube push? As a consumer, do you stream more than do you use YouTube a lot? Because I use YouTube more than I actually realized. From a consumer standpoint, do you use YouTube a lot, and could you see that wave being something that might pick up some steam?
I think the steam's already been picked up. I mean, like at this point, I watch YouTube more than I watch anything. I have Hulu, Netflix, and HBO Max and Amazon, and watch YouTube more than any of those platforms. Because there is user created content there, whether it be for politics, whether it be for news, whether it be for sports, that I watch every day. It's almost like I have a schedule of things that I'm going to watch on YouTube. Like I don't even have, at this point, I don't even have my, I keep meaning to do it, but I just don't have my antenna hooked to my television because I never watch anything live on television.
I don't either, I'll be honest.
The on-demand model is here and people are used to it. Like there are shows that I thoroughly enjoy, but I only watch them on Hulu. So I don't know when these shows come on. I just know that, like, I take that back. I know when they come on because I'm able to stream them the day after,
Right.
So, if it's something that comes on Tuesday, then I know I'm available to stream it on Wednesday. But going back to YouTube, just think about, I'm old enough to remember when they would say, we're going to premiere said video at this time on BET or MTV or back when they weren't both owned by Viacom. There was a thing where it was like, oh, MTV exclusive, BET exclusive. Like, it made a lot of black music departments upset, because I remember at one point, Heavy D, and he talked about this in our Arsenio Hall show, because I'm that old and I remember this, when he put out the Now That We Found Love joint. Like, it was determined it was going to be an MTV exclusive, despite the fact that, like, up to that point they hadn't supported Heavy D like BET had. But the politics game is like, yo, if we can get a 2-week exclusive on this particular video, it means a lot. Now when a video comes out, like, they'll say there's going to be a new Megan Thee Stallion video, and everybody says it's coming out midnight Eastern Standard Time, on Friday. Then everybody has it. As long as you have a phone or computer or video game system that has YouTube, you have access to that. Now, I realize what Lone said as far as them not paying you a certain rate, or they're probably the worst as far as what they pay per stream or view. But think about this: when your videos were getting played on MTV or VH1 or the Box, for those of you who remember that, you weren't getting paid anything at all. It wasn't. And the thing is, now, since it's such an on-demand, I looked at, there was the Future and Drake record that came out last year, and when you get to look at the metrics, that song's been streamed 1.9 billion times.
Wonder what that
would it be? So if you have a hit song and people really want to see the visual, I mean, it sounds crazy because they're paying you like in hay pennies, but if you add that up, and you get a 1.9 billion streams, I mean, it still sounds messed up. They're like, oh yeah, they made $4 million off of that, but like, if it had been viewed by 1 billion people on MTV, you wouldn't have gotten anything.
Jay Diff, man,
but also to that, the way that it's built into, the way the Content ID stuff is built into it, if I upload Jay Moore's music to my channel, and your Content ID is connected to it, you get a specific rate from that. But if you upload it to your own channel, you actually get a different rate, which is actually a little bit better. So it's very nuanced, and there's a lot to it, but it is significantly lower still than everything else. So that is definitely the bonus. And obviously we're here streaming live on YouTube, and all that good stuff. So,
hey, Diff, what you think, man? From you, just as a consumer, like, are you on YouTube a lot? I know we all stream. You know what I'm saying? Do you think might be possibly a wave?
It's definitely the wave. I mean, it started out with YouTube. Now they don't even go to the TV. It's pretty much starts with YouTube. There's TV shows on YouTube that they automatically know, and somehow they all telepathically watch the same exact shows and know what's going on. So that's already a thing. As far as the whole music thing goes with YouTube, it's like a conglomerate now, because those of us that prefer Android over iPhone use Google Play Music. Google Play Music has actually transitioned into YouTube Music. So the exact same platform that we're using to stream music has now turned into YouTube Music, which is streaming the music and videos. You actually have an opportunity or a choice to stream the video or the music while it's playing. And it's smart on YouTube's end, but at the same time, it's almost like they're becoming the Amazon of media for the most part, because they're in every facet. So whenever you think of something like you want to learn something to do, you go to YouTube. How do you change your brakes? Let me check on YouTube. What's the latest song out? You go to YouTube. What's the next video streaming? Go to YouTube. And they just pretty much have the media game sewed up. And there's been people that try to come after them.
Vimeo.
It failed.
Vimeo's making a big push right now.
They're failing because YouTube is just that name. When you think of videos, you think of YouTube. It's like
they're like, oh,
it's the acme of real life. You remember in all the Bugs Bunny cartoons, they always use Acme was the stamp that was on everything.
Yep.
Right.
YouTube is pretty much that for media. So it's good in that aspect for the ease of accessibility. But as far as the monetary portion of it, the streamers, we know that it takes a certain amount of hours or whatnot in order for you to actually generate that income. And for a musician, it's a little harder for them to hit those marks because it doesn't pay the exact same as far as the music streaming side versus the media or visual streaming side. So you got to be much educated on how you're going to put things out. And that's one of the reasons why a lot of these artists try to cheat the code or whatnot and put out these albums with super extended track lists, like 20 and 30 songs, because they're trying to trick the algorithm in order to continually pay themselves or continue to have themselves pop up for the consumer to be able to check them out. So I mean, it's pluses and minuses to it. But it definitely gets the artists out there, and it's a great platform for that, especially since YouTube, I mean, not YouTube, but BET and MTV do not play videos anymore. Like there's videos for songs that came out and they'll pop up on YouTube and I don't even know they had a video for it.
Yeah.
Because to MTV and BET, they don't promote videos at all anymore. So, I mean,
and one more,
because why would they?
Yeah.
Go ahead,
and one more point to all this is the difference just from a functionality standpoint of what YouTube has built into their algorithm as opposed to a lot of other streaming services. I know other streaming services have discoverability options, but the YouTube algorithm is really good, and it works really good for content creators and for musicians that are listening to things and what they suggest. And the fact that you can go from listening to a song to maybe watching an interview with the artist to then maybe, I mean, it's just hard to compare that to something that just streams music, you know? So.
I could dig it, man. All of y'all made good points. Yeah, especially that point about kids being introduced to things directly from YouTube. It just shows you the evolution, how things change. Because you're right. Every time I, see my little cousins or any of my friends that have kids, they have a tablet and YouTube is pulled up every single time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
And they even have YouTube for kids to make sure that nothing else. I mean, because YouTube is full of everything. You can find any and everything on YouTube, but they have apps to where it's designed for kids, so it only pulls certain things. That just tells you the power of it. And me having a 1.5-year-old right now, I'm experiencing it firsthand. Like literally, YouTube, Coco Melon, whatever, you know what I'm saying? That is all that stuff that all the kids know it too.
You know what, if we were smart, we would turn this show into a kids show and stream only for children.
Only to see the streams on those shows,
bro. The streams on the kids only content is ridiculous.
Have you seen the streams on Baby Shark?
Oh my god!
Well, see, that's the
dude. The person does Baby Shark.
Baby Shark
$8 million a month.
One of the kids, so all the kids shows sing Baby Shark.
Yeah.
Even the parodies of Baby Shark are out here getting money.
You talking about a bag, boy? Man, like that's a lot of money when you think about that, man. Just think about what y'all just said about the number of streams and how much money that yields. That's crazy.
Listen, and when you just think of the video side of YouTube by itself, you have YouTubers that are literally millionaires from content.
Yeah.
Based on the number of people that view their content And I mean, they're regular people. They just make content that people find interesting, and they get on YouTube, and they have residual income coming in.
Yep,
strictly off the strength of that. So,
if you've enjoyed this segment from the New Old Heads podcast, make sure to join our live chat every Tuesday from 9 to 11 p.m. Eastern at youtube.com/newoldheadsnetwork. Make sure to subscribe and hit that bell for notifications. We also invite you to join our private Discord community at newoldheads.com/community.